Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. A dear subscriber, Stephanie Howell, recommended this case be covered under Mystery Mystic because this young man, 23-year-old JackOSullivan out of Bristol, United Kingdom, I believe this town or city is south of England. I could be wrong, but she said that this young man has been missing, and she asked me if I would do a reading on it. So here we are. Thank you, Stephanie, for your support of the channel and for recommending this case. Prayers up for Jack to be found. I mean, it's been 2 months. March 2nd, wee hours of the morning on March 2nd is when he was last seen, and he was leaving a party at like 3-something in the morning, right? It looks like he was going to walk back to his family's home, and that he never made it back home. And then it almost looks like, according to surveillance, that he may have circled back or was going to go back to the party or go back in that direction. But he's been missing ever since. His phone was working all the way up until like 6:44 in the morning is what I read in the BBC article. And thereafter, I guess it stopped working. So it's like, what happened? There are large bodies of water near where he disappeared. So there is that. And we have covered several cases out of England, or the UK, I should say, not just England. But it would, we have to understand that sometimes people end up in bodies of water, whether they fell in, whether they willingly went into the water, or whether somebody put them in the water. That is something that is, that could happen, right? So we're going to keep an open mind. I don't know much of the details aside from what I just shared with you, okay? And I like it that way because it keeps it where it's like, okay, let me keep as much of an open mind as I possibly can. All right, with that all being said, with a little introduction, we're going to go ahead and shuffle the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. I'm going to highlight his picture on my laptop over near me here. Spirit, what can you tell us about what happened to JackOSullivan, 23? This is the first one that jumped. Can you tell us what happened? Devil. Okay. Iceberg. This is going to be an interesting reading. Okay. Diamond. Oh boy, Comet. Fetus. And then we have Harp. All right, I'm going to zoom in as I do so we can look at these cards a bit up close, right, together. Let's do that. And I apologize for any background noises. I am recording this like in the evening time, and it's always on a Sunday night. It's always like a lot of music, partying, etc. going on. So my apologies if those noises come through. All right, so let's get into this reading. I'm just taking in the messages for a moment, getting my Mildred Payne's little book up. So we have blood. Oh, make sure you all can see that. It just feels very bright. Hold on one second. Okay. Hoping it's a little better, but oh well. If there's a glare, I'll just bring the cards up. So we have blood. That's the first card that jumped. And it's always alarming when we see that, because it could be that someone is injured, someone needed medical attention, whether they had an accident or they harmed themselves or somebody hurt them. There is something of concern when you see this card come up in these types of readings, right? We have blood. And the key meanings, according to the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle Guidebook, is life, vitality, sacrifice, heritage, and ancestry. The key words that really stand out to me here is life and vitality. So, we see him walking. This is blood next to the foot card. We see him alive and well and walking around. But what's interesting about the map of, like, when they plot it on the map, they look at the surveillance video. Maybe they also look, they're gathering data from his phone. They see that he almost makes a complete circle. If you've ever been inebriated, and I know many of you all have, and I've been the first to say I have, and you are trying to get from point A to point B, you're trying to get from maybe a friend's house to home, but you're super inebriated, whether you try to drive. I know drinking and driving is absolutely wrong, but I'm just saying, let's just put it out there. Let's call a spade a spade. Or you walk home, or whatever the case may be. You try to take a cab home and you're trying to convey how to get home. You can't, because you're super inebriated. And I'm picking up on something here. Like, he did have an intention. One moment it seemed like a great idea to go home. Next minute it's just like, I can't get home. I'm lost. I'm super lost. Next minute I'm going to go back to the party. And that's the energy I'm picking up on here. Now, some people may say, well, no, he wasn't that drunk. You really don't know how drunk a person is or what they're under the influence of until, a blood test is done. Okay? So I don't know what people are saying about his, condition prior to leaving the party. And if you know and you've been really following this case, you can leave a comment, and enlighten us. But I don't know. But I'm just saying that I feel like that's the energy I'm picking up on here. Spirit is directing me to a time when I was so inebriated and I felt like I was going in one big old circle. It was super, super foggy one night. And I circled around the block, like a big, large, block of my friend's house. And I realized at some point, I have been going around in circles. That was probably Jack's age when this happened. And I finally ended up back to her house and was like, I am just going to sleep until I can leave in the morning, because I don't know what's going on. And thankfully that happened. But I'm just saying, that's the energy I'm picking up on that Spirit is directing me to. Okay. Now we have the foot card. Now, the foot card is sitting next to the blood card. This card literally could be he was on foot. He was alive. We saw the surveillance. We probably, officers have seen the ping, the ping's data. So they know that at some point he was alive. He was well. It's so puzzling to me, though, that like where the trail goes cold, you don't seem to be able to follow up on that. Did he fall in the water? Did he end up meeting foul play? Did someone hit him? It's just interesting to me. And so what Spirit is saying, his last known area where he is confirmed to have traveled by foot, obviously, is where the key clues of what happened to him and where he is at. That is what Spirit wants me to share, and I'm sharing it with you all now. So whatever that is on the map, wherever that is on his pings, where he was, or in CCTV footage where you can see his foot is planted on the ground the last time, that is where the key information is about where he's at, where he went, what happened to him, etc. Okay? Foot could be someone wanting to some kind of higher moral ground, or even sometimes maybe a kicking of someone, or it could be stepping down on someone, stepping on some, putting your foot on their neck, that kind of energy. I don't know. I'm just sharing different ideas of what could mean with the foot card. Okay. Now let's move to the devil card. Devil. The devil, I'm just going to read to you some of the key meanings for a moment. Let's just go there. So we have evil, nasty habits, deceit, and abuse. Let's break these down. He could have been faced an obstruction with this iceberg. Someone, a devilish person or devilish situation got in his way, threw him off path, took advantage of him, and was evil and did some harm to him. Could be something of that nature, right? Next keyword, nasty habits. Who had nasty habits? This person who may have obstructed him, got in his way, or is it his own nasty habits? From all accounts, from what I can see in the articles, is that Jack is a straight up guy. He is a young man with a good head on his shoulders. He's, academic, a student. He, has a bright future for himself. I get all that. And there is no victim blaming that goes on over here on this channel. However, was he facing something that was devilish of his own making, or the making that had been put upon him, like an addiction of some sort? I don't know. We'll have to see what the rest of the cards say as we build upon this reading, right? We also have key meanings. Pay attention. Deceit and abuse. Deceit. Was he not telling the truth to someone about where he was going or what he was going to be doing? Is someone who has given a statement to law enforcement or to his family or friends not telling the whole truth? Was there some kind of form of abuse that happened the night of that he encountered on foot? Okay. We'll go from there. Now let's get into this iceberg card. I have an interesting relationship with this card. I'm going to share that with you, okay? Because I've done many readings, these type of readings, these mystery mystic readings with the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. And when this card comes up, it can mean like an obstruction in someone's way, a physical obstruction. I remember there was 2 different times this card came up. One case, it was someone had maybe seen or perceived seeing something in the road, swerved off the roadway and careened, and the vehicle crashed, causing death to the driver and passenger. Okay. Another time this card came up in a different mystery mystic reading. It was a young girl who had encountered someone in her path at the park, at a community park, and this guy kidnapped her. A perceived obstruction is what I'm getting at here. A perceived obstruction, a perceived obstacle, an actual or perceived obstacle. Now, metaphorically speaking, this card can mean hidden emotions, self-exploration needed, problems may be bigger than you think. These are the key meanings that comes with the iceberg card. But I'm giving you some different examples of what it can mean. And next to the devil card is saying problems could be bigger than what they seem. Hidden emotions, obstacles. Okay? So now I'm looking at this again. A lot of us are assuming that he's deceased, and it's understandable why. All right? Because there's no activity with his phone. They've checked his bank records, etc., to see if he's, moving about the cabin. But there's probably evidence that he's not. So we all are assuming that he's not with us anymore. Now, one of the first key meanings to the blood card is life and then vitality. There could be an off chance he's alive. I don't like giving false hope. But I am a human being, and I'm allowed, even as being a reader, to have hope, and take a keyword and say, okay, perhaps, he's alive. Maybe he is dealing with something that nobody really understood the depth of. However, I'm also a logical person, and I can understand why we would come to the conclusion that something happened. And then I'm going to circle back to you to tell you why I think something may have happened, okay? Diamond is the next card. Diamond is always, when it comes up, it's about something of value. Someone being pure, or a situation you thought was pure. Getting clarity. It also is associated with royalty. So maybe a street name, that denotes some sort of nobility or royalty. I don't know. I'm just saying things. A promise, or someone feeling invincible. That's what the diamond card, like one of the key meanings is invincible, or a promise. But for me, one of the very first key phrases, my own personal association, is something of value. Someone seeing something of value. Someone foregoing something of value. Now, here is why I think that something may have been tragic that happened while he's on foot, right? Comet is sitting underneath the foot card, sitting next to the fetus card. This is a teaching channel as well. I'm also, for those who study reading the cards, this is why I kind of walk through it and talk about what cards are corresponding to, to help those who are interpreting cards and trying to see where I'm coming from. Okay, comet keywords is disaster, turmoil, catastrophe, destruction, war, a bad omen. And this is why I think Spirit is like, Kim, I know you want to hold out hope, and you could very well hold out hope and keep the faith. But I'm showing you here with this comet card that something catastrophic and destructive happened. A bad omen. A bad omen. And fetus. What is the fetus card about? Fetuses are about new beginnings, developing possibilities, new responsibilities. Maybe he had a new responsibility he had to deal with, a girlfriend. Maybe he was going to be an intern somewhere, or a new job, or new studies he's taking on. And it caused a lot of stress, leading him to blow off some steam. This is an example. Fetus sometimes literally can mean a fetus, some kind of newborn energy involvement, a baby, mention of a baby, a name of some sort with someone, him knowing something. It also, metaphorically speaking, when you have a fetus next to a comet card, it's like an ending and a new beginning, a new way of being, right? New way of being would be, you're in your physical body, you're in this physical life, and you've transitioned on into a new being. Okay. Last card, another reason why I think something may have happened. We have harp. This is about a time of peace, serenity, rejuvenation. After whatever it is, this catastrophic incident, he is now in a place of peace. And it's almost like with Jack, he wants his family to know, and I know they may never watch this video, but he wants his family and loved ones and friends to know he's at peace. I did a little pre-reading before I started this reading, and I used just my divinatory dice. And what I do before I do these types of readings is I ask the person who I'm reading on. I throw dice, and if they say not now, don't do a reading now, I won't do a reading now. Or if they say no, I won't do it. He said yes. Jack responded with yes. And I feel like it's because of this card. He wants his family to experience some level of peace, knowing that he's at peace right now. Okay, loves, I'm going to pause here, take a picture, and then move on to the next deck. I'll be right back. All right, so now with JackOSullivan, we're going to see what the shadow self oracle cards are going to tell us. Okay. zoom in a moment to show you what is coming up. Okay. All right, so the first card that jumped was hostility, complacency, somebody being complacent, okay, in the situation, in the moments, days, you know, leading up to his disappearance. We have envy. Could he be envious or someone else envious of him? Anxiety. This could represent anxiety he felt, right? It could be anxiety someone around him was feeling. We have drug. Okay. Sabotage. Sabotage. Flighty. Passive aggression. What I'm getting a sense of, just off the bat, is it's looking like at the party, it was not, I mean, 3 something in the morning is a great time to go ahead and try to go home, right? It's really late. So, I mean, maybe it was just time to go, but it feels like what led him to leave the party is some kind of hostility, envy. I don't know if this is alleged. I don't know if there was drug use there or if he engaged in drug use, or maybe other people were engaging in drug use and that wasn't flying by him, or this card can mean that someone dragged him. So, you know, like I drug this thing, I drug this person. It could mean I put something in somebody's drink. Drug or drag could mean physically moving someone from one point A to point B, or it could mean about drugs, like substances. Like I drugged someone or someone drugged me, or drugs being in the mix of what's causing the hostility. Maybe he was a bit more complacent about, you know, this hostility. Maybe he should have left a lot earlier. Maybe he's having regrets about not leaving earlier, is what I'm picking up on from him. We have here envy. I don't know if someone was envious of him or he was harboring envy towards someone in this situation. Spirit is just wanting me to take a look at the situation of what he was mentally and emotionally going through just prior to his disappearance. Okay, whatever this was going on here, this hostility, complacency, envy, anxiety, and drug situation, it was causing anxiety. Now, remember this scenario where I mentioned that I would like when I once got really, really drunk and I was wandering around thinking I was headed home and I wasn't. I was so filled with terror and anxiety until finally a light bulb moment went off and said, okay, well, let me go back to point A of where I came from. And I went back to my friend's house. Thankfully, I could kind of remember where she was at. But it could just simply be speaking to that anxiety he's feeling. But it also could be about something stewing and percolating as it relates to the party. The party. Where was he last? And if someone knows this, who's been following his case, what area was his last confirmed self, you know, like where he was at, whether it was CCTV, ping of the phone, or what have you? Does anyone know that? Because I keep going back to that is where the vital information is. Did he make it back to the party or near the party? We have sabotage. Could be self-sabotage. It could be sabotage, someone sabotaging him. This is this obstacle that comes to mind with the iceberg card. Flighty. You know, you took flight, you needed to leave. Someone in this mix is flighty. He could be the flighty one. And then passive aggression. Was he being passive aggressive or was someone being passive aggressive towards him? And when I think of passive aggression, yes, that could be between strangers. Sure, you could be passive aggressive with a stranger. But there's certain cards in this deck that to me lead me to believe that is not strangers that are involved. This is speaking to an ongoing situation, an ongoing relationship, friendship, etc. That things have just kind of blew up. I'm trying to see if I could see any that would right off the bat be like not. I suppose defensive could be, a stranger. But yeah, we have drunk in here, we have helpless, doubtful, depression. We have those kind of cards, and they're not here. So there's no self-harm going on. The only thing that we're now really looking at is accidental, someone getting in his way and harming him. That's what I'm picking up on here. Either accidental or loss, like he's lost. He fell in. He was trying to leave a hostile situation and then end up going on a self-destructive path right into the water, or someone hurt him. I'm not getting a sense of self-harm. I'm also not getting a sense that he's still with us. So we're now narrowing it down based on what we're seeing in these cards. Okay, we're narrowing it down. All right, friends, I'm going to pause here and take a picture. All right, so I did also, before we moved into this next part of the reading, I did want to say that a clue about where he could be is water, right? When I see water, or I see land, or I see some sort of landmark depicted in these cards, I make a note of it, right? Is there also something kind of jetting out of the water that could be kind of symbolic of this iceberg, or maybe it could be a big old boulder or rock that he could be, near. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, that wasn't lost on me in the earlier part, but I forgot to mention it. So now we're going to work with my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. I shuffle it in parts. I just need to get Jack's picture. My screensaver came on. Okay, so Spirit, can you give us clues on what happened or where he may be at? What happened to him? Where is he? What happened? Lord, okay. What happened? So what I do is I just shuffle them into... I shuffle them in sections because it's such a big deck. It's 160 cards. Set to grow. I'm going to be working on this deck. It is for sale now, this edition, but I have plans for it. Spirit, what else can you share about Jack? And nothing from this deck. We'll pull from a different, or this section. Let's pull from this section. Accident. Okay. Terminated. All right. Bloodline. That's interesting. Got the blood card too. And that does one of the key meanings on here on the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. And then looking at my card, Bloodline, I'm going to look at that for a second. Because the bloodline, or blood card out of Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle means, where are you? Blood. Life, vitality, sacrifice, heritage, ancestry. So, maybe relatives, brothers, sisters know something. Bloodline. I don't know. That's interesting to me. I don't know how that's going to pan out. I'm always looking at the coincidences, if you will, for lack of a better word, across the different readings to see what else. area. Seems like a town. I don't know. JackOSullivan. JackOSullivan. Was he dating anyone? Was he dating anyone? I don't know. Rival, backstabber, denial. Something's going on. And it, you know, the party itself may not be what happened or where, like be the cause, I should say, of anything. Because we haven't gotten any of those kind of cards, like a party card. But it could be what led him to leave. Like something happened that caused him to come to the party and to leave the party when he did. We have here power control, someone needing to be in control, someone exerting power over him, or him exerting power over someone else, or him trying to take control of a situation by leaving. Lured could be he was lured to the party, or lured away from the party, or lured to something on his path that he thought would be good to explore and go to. Okay? So that's why, again, Spirit keeps directing me to that foot card message about the last spot. You know, sometimes we'll think, oh, well, maybe he got picked up, like somebody drove him away, and so that's not his last spot. But Spirit is saying, no, there's something very key and critical with clues or evidence that may not have been seen by law enforcement, or maybe law enforcement has it and has not revealed it. But there is something at the last known spot where he's at that leads them to believe. And also, I don't know if law enforcement is considering his case suspicious or not. I don't know. We have here jail or imprisonment. This could, you know, portend that someone down the line could be jailed or in prison as it relates to this case. Or it could be someone who's involved has a, you know, prison or jail record, or it could be, you know, that something that he did maybe encounter someone who's a bit unsavory. Could be something like that. Investigator, PI. That's what I was saying earlier. There could be something more that is not being released by law enforcement or by the investigation team about what they know and additional evidence. It does seem kind of like they kind of parse it out. And I think what it was is that Spirit is telling me that law enforcement was initially thinking he fell in the body of water. But now, as time has gone on and they've dived, now it doesn't mean he's not in the water. We saw the iceberg card, but they're realizing that this is something more. There's something more to the disappearance. This also has PI. It could be recommended to his family if they want to really gain some more insight and gain some answers, maybe getting some outside assistance. Not to say that law enforcement who's investigating now, you know, the different agencies are not doing a fine job. They probably are. But, you know, if the family wants to help expedite this in terms of getting answers, whereas like law enforcement is not really authorized to do, a PI may be able to go and find out a bit more about what was going on in the hours, the days, and weeks leading up to his disappearance. Okay. Accident. Now, I am part of the school of thought that perhaps he just accidentally fell in. Somebody lured him. He went in. He got a detour. He hung out somewhere. I don't know. And then he leaves that spot. He's not captured on, CCTV, and he somehow ends up accidentally hurting himself, and it could be something of that nature. Now, this card can also mean that he could have been hit in like a hit and run situation, although to me it is rare that someone would do a hit and run and then move the body. Typically, a hit and run, they would leave the body. And you're probably like, well, how would you know that? It's because for many years, much of my career, I handled injury and fatality claims. So I get a sense of these things. That, so that, I don't know about hit and run where they would move the body. Not impossible, but it's a little questionable. But it could be an accidental OD. It could be an accidental slip and fall, like this person. It could be an accident. He leaves the party because it's a lot going on. There's hostility. He's just ready to go home. He's ready to get back to a place of safety. He doesn't get back to that place of safety, so he goes back and something accidentally happens. Or it could mean that someone is going to use the ruse that he accidentally died, or he accidentally got in, like something, like it was an accident that caused him to disappear. Terminated. Let's talk about terminated. Was somebody recently terminated in this situation, in the friend group, at the party? Was he terminated, or did he want to terminate something? A friendship, a relationship, the party, like, I don't know. Termination, terminated. That's a key word here to think about and mull over. We talked about the bloodline, not quite sure of what this card can mean. Maybe some kind of blood relatives in the know, or I don't know. Does he have a history of something that's genetic that passes down, like a seizure disorder? I don't know. I'm just tapping in, trying to see what we can pick up on. Wooded area. He's not like indoors somewhere. He's outdoors. He's outdoors. That's what I'm getting a sense of. A wooded area near where he was last seen on foot, or last picked up or confirmed on foot. Breaking and entering, burglary. Did he try to break in somewhere and had an accidental spill, wanting to rest? Could be, right? He could be the one breaking and entering, and like, I'm so inebriated, I can't get home. I thought I could, and he breaks in somewhere and hurts himself. That could very well be it. Or he could encounter someone who was trying to hurt him, and maybe they didn't mean to hurt him, and as a result, they hurt him, and now they had to do something about that. Hence the Devil card with the Iceberg card, right, that we talked about earlier in this reading. Breakup or divorce. This is why I kept saying, does he have a girlfriend? Did he have a girlfriend? What's going on here? I don't know. Landfill, dumpster, or trash. Breakup, someone feeling like trash, someone feeling discarded, causing envy. He wanted to leave. This could also literally be that some key evidence related to the disappearance has been tossed. Whether known or unknown to the person who tossed it, that they didn't know that they tossed something of value. Gunfire. Don't know. Sometimes it literally means a gun involvement, or the threat of a bodily harm, or threat of a gun, or targeted. Oftentimes this card, if it's not involving a direct firearm, it can indicate someone was targeted. Like to shoot someone, you're either an intended or unintended target. And I don't know. That could be what it's speaking to. I'm getting a sense, I'm just going to say here, that something was going on in his personal life, and it kind of culminated into something where it became quite stressful for him. He goes to this party. It becomes too much for him. He needs to leave. He wants to leave. He attempts to come home, can't come home, and something happens thereafter. He encounters a devilish situation. Okay? That's what I'm picking up on here. He's, so there's that. We have rival, backstabber. So that goes with this whole notion of passive aggression, envy, hostility, sabotage. when you're talking about a rival or backstabber, you're talking about someone in someone's life. Sure, you could have a stalker rival or backstabber, but typically it's someone you know. This is not to say that the people that would be involved in this dynamic with him is involved or did anything to him, but it's just to say, you know, that he could have been dealing with a lot more than meets the eye, than what family and friends know or releasing, and that it led to this trajectory of him ultimately going missing and ultimately having something happen to him. Someone could be denying involvement or knowing more than they do know because they're fearful that they could get in trouble. Denial of how deep a situation is going. This card could have multiple meanings. Denial. Out of town. Out of town could be he is just outside of town. We've got railroad tracks depicted. Maybe there's railroad tracks nearby as another key landmark. But it could also mean that whoever is in the know or might be responsible for all these things being set into motion may be wanting to get out of town or have left town. Or it could be that he is actually just outside of town. Could be something like that. Okay? Aiding and abetting. What do we think about this card? This card is saying someone could have been aiding and abetting or aiding someone in covering up more of the details about him leaving, the circumstances of him coming to this party and leaving this party, or, you know, the drug situation, trying to clean up something related to drugs or something like that, allegedly. I'm not trying to accuse anybody. I don't know of who is at the party or any of that. All of this is alleged. But that's what I'm getting a sense of here. I think I have time for one more part of the reading. We'll try to wrap it up after this, so I'll be right back. Let's look at clues on who might be in the know. Maybe they don't know that they are in the know. Maybe they don't know they have key information. Maybe they know a lot more. Maybe they're the devil that's depicted in the card. I don't know. We're just going to pull a few cards from my Defining Characteristics Oracle. Spirit, can you give us clues on someone involved or in the know that could give us some information about the situation? A guy, a brunette, average height, thin face. Okay. Blue eyes. And so I'll show you all in a moment what we've got. Okay. Virgo energy. I don't know what. I think he's a Pisces. I think. I'm gonna stop there. Dragon. Forgot when he's born. Okay. All right. So let me show you these cards real fast. We have average height. We have facial hair. So this denotes a man who may be in the know, who has facial hair, right? Someone, you know, distinct facial hair, mustache, beard, goatee, etc. Brunette. Now, this could mean that there's a male and a female, or male or female that's in the know. We have brunette. We have thin face. Someone in the know who has an unusual thin face. I don't have a thin face. So you know people who have thin faces, right? So there's a distinct facial structure. Blue eyes, one or two people involved. And I say this because we have aiding and abetting. We have a female and a male here who may know a bit more about this case. A bit more than they have, that we know as the public. This person may have blue eyes, quite striking eyes, perhaps, or light-colored eyes. Sometimes when I get like light-colored eyes, it could just be that. And then a beauty mark or mole. Okay, on the face, on the arm, somewhere, you know, where we can see. We have Virgo. someone born August 23rd to September 22nd or have Earth in their chart. Strengths, hardworking, diligent, modest, and loyal. Weakness, critical, perfectionist, overthinker. Dragon. So what stands out to me about this person, and it could represent a second person, or it could be these are two describing two people. I don't know. But the Dragon card has birth years. We have 2000, which stands out to me. That's about the age range that he was born. So there's that. We have this. So I'll pull one more just in case for astrological sign. And then we'll wrap up. Soulmate. I do want to know, and maybe he's not dating anyone. Maybe he wanted to date someone. I don't know. I was looking for another astro sign, but that's okay. For time's sake, we'll stop here. We have soulmate. Soulmate could be a lover. It could be someone you want to be a lover, or it could be a best friend. I consider some of my nearest and dearest friends my soulmates, not just one. I don't believe in one soulmate for one person. I believe in multiple soulmates for multiple purposes. But it could be something related, as we saw here, breakup or divorce. And again, this could be stuff circulating or swirling around Jack. Not necessarily that, this is the cause. I mean, it could be a part of why he did all of this and he left and now this has happened. But it's something to consider. And it could be that a person who is very close to him has key information that either only law enforcement knows or they know, and we will find out at some point. All right, friends, I'm going to stop here because this is rather long. What I plan to do is in part 2 for his reading, we're going to use the Divine Crime Oracle by Divine Visions, and I'm going to use my timing deck. If nothing comes up in this deck, I'm going to use my timing deck. And I want to break this up in 2 parts because sometimes when these get too long, it's a beast for me to edit and upload and all the things. So we'll stop here. Do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And let's pray and hope that Jack is found, that he comes home and that his family gets some peace. Okay. All right, friends, I will see you all in the next video. Please join me there.